all of you for today's session. How many of you attended a Janmashtami session? You are there, right? Okay, wonderful. Of course, this Bhagavad Gita shows us insights into our life. Okay, everybody is able to hear me? The last corner clearly? Okay? Yeah, fine. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is full of many gems that makes our life rich, makes our life purposeful, makes our life useful and meaningful. So let us dive deep. Of course, Janmashtami day we heard about anger control and all these things, right? So today we are going into some more gems of Bhagavad Gita in today's session. Before we start, let us start with the prayers. Okay, all of you please fold your hands, close your eyes. Okay, if you want to keep it open, you can see the prayers on the screen also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuromilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome to this Gita course based on the Bhagavad Gita, the divine song of God. And today's session we are dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He is the spiritual ambassador of India for whole world. Yesterday I met one devotee, Ratnesh Prabhu. He went to Suriname. Anybody knows the name country? Name of the country is Suriname somewhere in the map. Yeah, So not many people know about it, where it is, but still he went there for the deputation for some job, and he was wondering, हमें Indian प्रसाद मिलेगा कि नहीं यहाँ पे? And he was wonderstruck. Even such a remote country which is into somewhere in the corner, there also he found the devotees who were chanting Hare Krishna, and they were having Indian prasad, Indian food there. Such a, even though our Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes to many places, many countries, and where the welcoming parties are there, whatever country he may go, Hare Krishna's Vara will be always there with them to welcome Narendra Modi. So yes, but it's all possible because the hard work and the potency of this personality who took this Indian culture to all the countries all over the world. So let us dive deep into these teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Today's topic is exploring inner self. To start with this topic, one question I will ask all of you. This is just kind of interactive thing. Yeah, of course, all of you know me nicely. Consider. And after that, actually, it happens like that. Ki I'm your good friend, and I'm a brahmachari. I have to go out of roaming and all the places. I have some 1 lakh rupees in my cash. And I say, okay, Prabhuji, take this 1 lakh rupees. I'm going out of station for a 1 month kind of thing. You keep it. And after I come, you give me back. Okay? And I go and I come back. And I ask you the money, you give me the money back. Okay? This is one scenario. Okay? You just observe your own emotions. Okay? This is called as a thought experiment. Okay? Experiment of the thoughts. So I went, I asked you money back, you gave me back. Okay? Scenario number 2. In this scenario, what's happening? You are going to a Total Mall somewhere, maybe here Reliance Trend is there. They were doing some scratch card, and after purchases, you won 1 lakh rupees in cash, and you take this money back, to your home, happy, nicely you keep in your bedroom, and another night, thieves come, they will take this 1 lakh and go away. Observe the emotions, both the places. What is the difference between these two scenarios, emotions that appeared in your heart in these two scenarios? Anybody wants to speak out? Yeah. तो mic दीजिएगा.
So in the first scenario, the money was never mine to begin with. You had given me with the unsaid promise that once you are back, I'm supposed to give it to you. So there is no hurt or pain if I'm giving away something that is not mine. In the second scenario, I won a lottery. Even by the stroke of luck, that money became mine.
Even though it was not yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm saying by the stroke of luck, destiny, whatever, I became the owner of that money. So when I lose it, I feel hurt.
So first scenario already decided that yes, money is not mine. Second scenario, because it came to you, you decided thinking that yes, this is my money. And even though this is money coming and money going, even though you are not the owner of it, but still you started thinking that this is my money, you started getting attached to it. So this is our attachment are there to many things. Our attachment to the house, our attachment is there towards our family, our car, our something which I have a laptop, a mobile. I have attachment to. Everybody has some kind of attachment to something and something. And this attachment is only playing the game of happiness and distress in our life. Same thing happened with Arjun. Arjun was there in the battlefield. In the battlefield, he had to fight Kshatriya. Duty is to fight. Just it's a mechanical job for him. Just take an arrow, shoot, person is killed. That's all. But in many fields, many battlefields, Arjuna fought valiantly and he was courageous. But in this battle, he lost his courage. Why? Because in this battle, the people in front of him, he was attached to. He was a Pitama, Bhishma, Dronacharya, and our his cousins. Even though they were enemy to him, he was attached to them, and that's why he got bewildered, could not could not find the courage to fight. And there, Krishna's instruction starts to Arjuna how to deal with these things, how to deal with these attachments. You know, first thing we saw that our attachments to the money which came and went, it was a temporary thing. So Arjuna, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita talks about this attachment to the temporary things and a permanent thing. First chapter talks about the bewilderment of Arjuna, and second chapter Krishna starts speaking. There this lesson comes. What's the real attachment has to be? What's the temporary thing and what is the permanent thing, and how to get attached to the permanent thing. That is the lesson from second chapter, and we are going to learn this into interactive way today. The question is attachment wrong? Anyone?
Not necessary.
Not necessary? Yeah. Anybody else want to say, is attachment wrong, bad or good? Yeah.
We cannot say attachment is wrong, but we have to understand that everything is not permanent.
Of course, as I mentioned, attachment to permanent is okay, and temporary is bad. Yes. See, but our life, we cannot live without attachment. Everything is everything moves with attachment. Somebody is working in the office, and is there boss comes to him, "Arey bhaiya, do this job," and you sit there and idling say, "Sir, I am detached. I don't have any attachment." And what boss will do? "Bhaiya, ghar chale jao." So, like without attachment, we can't work also. Mother takes care of the child. Attachment is there. The people work in their company because the attachment is there. Attachment moves. So how can I be without any attachment? Is it possible? So as you said, attachment to temporary thing causes suffering. That's what we have to look for. So attachment to temporary or attachment to the permanent thing. So we'll like to try to understand. Okay, this concept we'll pause it here now. To understand, attachment to temporary thing causes the suffering, and attachment to permanent relieves us. Yeah. Okay. So let us pause this concept here. Now we dive into another concept here, exploring the inner self. Okay. What is permanent? What is temporary? That we'll learn. Okay. Common sense. We talk about something kind of a common sense now. Okay. Let's play a game. Very kiddish game actually. Okay. So I will say something. You have to act. So a game is like that. You have to. I will take the any body part name, and you have to point finger to it. Isn't it? I will talk about only proper things. Okay. So you have to point finger. Okay. Okay. Are you ready? A kiddish game actually. Even small kid can do this. Okay. Show me your right eye. Okay. Left ear. And nose. Your hairs. Your shoulder. Your left hand. Okay. Now show me your body. Okay, like that. Show me yourself. That is, you are showing body, right? What is? Show me yourself. Confused, right? Huh? See, every day we are watching ourselves in the mirror, but what we are watching in the mirror? Are we seeing ourselves? What we are decorating in the mirror? बड़ा मेकअप लगाते हैं, बड़े से तेल वेल लगा के बाल बनाते हैं ना? What we do? Are we decorating ourselves? Are we decorating body? This is what even though we say कि yes, this is me, but even though this is not me, actually this is me inside this body. We have, just like we say this is my mobile, same way I say this is my hand, this is my head, this is my eyes, nose, and I can say this is my body. What we understand? This body is not me, but this body belongs to me. Then question comes, where is that me? Isn't it? See, there is a very important phenomenon in our life, death. है ना? When somebody dies, what we say? English, generally in English? Huh? No, somebody dies, how we convey the news? He passed away. Passed away. है ना? He passed away. And what you say in Kannada language? Anybody Kannadiga here? Huh? सत्तु होगदारू, मतलब somebody went. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? गुजर गए. गुजर गए मतलब somebody walks away, गुजर गया. That गुजर गए. And any other language we have here? Marathi, Tamil, Bengali क्या बोलते हैं? हाँ? मारा गए. मारा गए तो थोड़ा रूड हो गया ना. मतलब चले गए. चले गए छे. हाँ? Any other language? तमिल क्या बोलते हैं? Erendekeda. That also kind of thing, same thing. That is gone. है ना? Any other language we have? Telugu. What language? What is Telugu? Chelupayaru. Okay. See, most of the language we have similar kind of meaning there. Yes, he is gone. But where is he gone? He is lying down there, na? Your friend, if somebody says Michael. Michael is dead. Huh?
They have son.
What is that?
They have son.
They have a son. They have a son. That's very nice. Actually, the scriptural word. Actually, they have a son. See, the person is lying in front of you, but still you say he's gone. Guzar gaye, chale gaye, he's gone. Where is he gone? He's lying in front of you. Everything is there. So this is the concept. Every language have accepted it. Even the person is there. Even the body is there. Everything is like that. But still, this person is not there. The person who is running this body is not present there. I and the body is different. See, even though this body is dead, we do so many things like organ transplantation, heart transplantation, and some liver transplantation, and many organs we transplant from one body to another body, one person to another person. So that means after death also these organs are working fine. But what is that is not making these things work? Even this body is working, but all the parts are working perfectly, but still that person is dead. Why? Why this happens there? You say soul, okay. Something new concept has come up now. Okay, fine. We'll take it up. Soul. What is the soul then? Huh? Is any part of my body the soul? No? What is that soul? Huh? Heart. Atma. This is a translation of soul into Kannada English language, but what actually it is?
The one which makes function.
Makes the function. Okay, we'll just say petrol in the vehicle gets over, we put again petrol, it starts working, right? We put soul, it will start working. What's happening? Chalo, okay, we'll understand these things more detail. This Bhagavad Gita speaks about it very nicely about it. That's why Bhagavad Gita is very, very scientific. It talks about mechanism of the body, mechanism of the soul, mechanism of life. Okay? So this is Bhagavad Gita speaks about here this one wonderful shloka. If you are able to see it here, will recite with me. I will say one line, you can repeat. Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yauvanam jara Tatha dehantara prapti Dhirastatra namuyati. Okay, I want someone volunteer from Prabhuji's side who will read the translation. So, volunteer who is reading the translation, that's all.
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body and death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
Very wonderful word is here, is called as Dehantara. Prabhuji has told one nice word, Deha Vasan. Now this is, Deha Vasan means the giving of the body. But now Deha-antara we are talking about. Deha-antara. So this is another concept here. So Deha-antara, changing of the body, it talks about. Who is changing the body? How it is body is changing? So Dehi, the word is here Dehi. Dehi means the one he is using the body is the owner of the body is Dehi. So Dehi. Dehi knows means Yatha Dehe. Dehi, just like as the body changes from Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, boyhood, youth and old age keeps on changing, and same way Tatha Dehantara Praptivita, same way at the time of death we change the body. So how this Dehantara happens, we understand it practically. Okay, this is another game we'll play. Okay, I'll show some photos of some celebrities. So this is their celebrities here. All of you know the celebrities, right? Anybody doesn't know any celebrity here? Very famous people. First person is? Second one? Okay. And third one? Okay. And the fourth? Fifth? And then? Steve Jobs. He is not that much ancient person. He is recent one. Okay. And then Oprah Winfrey. She is a very famous orchestrator, singer, and celebrity. Last one, Queen Elizabeth. Okay, all of you know all these things. I'm going to show the photos, different photos of these celebrities. Now you have to identify which celebrity is this. Among them only one of them will be there. Okay. Okay. Identify the celebrities. Elizabeth. Okay. One hint I will give is all these three photos belongs to one person only. Einstein. Okay. Chalo theek hai. Let's keep it. Now this one. This is Queen Elizabeth. Okay. This one. Boys, you are able to see it here properly? Or have a turn something? Clear, right? Okay. This is Roger Federer. Okay. This is another set of the photos. Okay. This is the answers now. That's not. You see. Let us see how many of you are correct. First thing is Einstein. How many of you are correct? Okay. Second one. Yes. Third one is Roger Federer. Very nice. Okay. Another set. Now challenge for the main side. Well, Mataji is answering very nicely. Now this is yours. Okay. Nelson Mandela? Okay. This one? Mother Teresa? Okay. Barack Obama? Okay. Perfect. Your guess is very nice. Nelson Mandela, this is Mother Teresa, and this is Barack Obama. Wonderful. So you are successfully passed this exam. But what we understand, what we learn from this? Changes of the body. The person in the first photo and the person in the last photo is the same person? Person is the same. But what is the difference? Young age and old age. Body is changed? Body is changed. Yes, it happens. See, our body doesn't remain same whole of our life. It keeps on changing. Even, child, when we take birth, how many bones are in our body? Any medical student here? कितनी हड्डियाँ होती हैं हमारे शरीर में? है ना, 300 around. ना some by the time we grow, some are broken and all these things. But finally, number of bones reduce. है ना? So body changes. It is said that in our body also there are so many cells, tissues, they are dying and they are replaced by some new tissues. In this way, we can say that how many scientists have some research, they have some calculations. They have mentioned that after the 7 years, every tissue in our body is replaced. So after 7 years, you are completely new body. So it happens without our knowledge. हम जानते भी नहीं, we don't understand that how it's happening, but still we are changing body. We are growing, we are getting upgraded, updated. है ना? We have a iPhone 15, 16, 17. Every year something new and new coming up. Our 13th birthday, mother takes to us to a hospital and say, today is your birthday, I'm taking you out and bringing you new, and say, new body. Is that happening? No, I'm not getting updated like that. But yes, update is happening all the time. You know? But whenever this update is happening, still we retain that identity. We don't change that identity. We remain same. Even when I was a small child, that time also my mother was talking to me with the same affection, and when I become old, that time also mother is talking with the same affection. Same person she is talking to, right? So body changes, but what is that remaining constant? That is we talking about as a dehi. The term here which is used as a dehi. Okay, of course, after that many people talk about many different names, atma, all this. But yeah, dehi. So that's why dehinos mean yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Embodied soul. Dehi is translated as a embodied soul. It continuously passes from one body to another whole lifetime. And by seeing this change, the person doesn't get bewildered. So we understand the difference between dehi and deha. How body changes and how many bodies we have. So this is what we call as a dehi, the soul. And it has another covering of the body which we call as a subtle body. And subtle body, and after that one more covering is there which is called as a gross body. Of course, the common terms are like Atma, Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira. So it is okay, otherwise English is fine, right? This gross, subtle body, which is subtle. Gross means gross. So subtle body is, this is like a covering after the covering. The soul is covered by subtle body, soul is covered by the gross body. Like we have a shirt, over that we have a coat. So one more cover is coming up. Like that, we keep changing our gross body. But subtle body and soul remains the same. So how this subtle body and gross body is formed. This is another shloka from Bhagavad Gita, talks about subtle elements and the gross elements. Okay, we'll read this shloka. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yam me भिन्ना प्रकृतिर अष्टधा. Mataji's side. Somebody wants to read the translation?
Earth, water, fire, air, people, mind, intelligence, and soul's ego. All together, these eight constitute mind separated material energies.
Very simple. Bhumi means earth. Apa, water. Sorry, apa means water, correct. And another, the fire. Vayu means air. And kham is the ether, the sky. There's 5 elements, no? We have known. So these are the gross elements we talk about. And then there are subtle elements which are mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the subtle, sukshma, which we cannot measure. Gross means what? Something we can measure. If you say our modern science specifically deals with only these 5 elements. Modern science talks about it. The gross elements, they are experimented, measured, which something can be measured properly. With a kilo, liter, or length, and so on. These are the gross. Bhumi, apa, anala, vayu. We can measure. But something which cannot be measured is really sukshma. These are the mind, intelligence, and ego. These are sukshma elements. So these both constitute our body. Both are the material only. So these 2 coverings are there we have. So gross body is like a coat, and subtle body is like a shirt inside that we are making. The gross body is made of 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, air, ether, and subtle body is mind, intelligence, and ego. So of course we can understand earth, water, fire, and ether, but subtle body, to understand those concepts, those things, is a little bit subtle actually. When we see in our mind, when we see our inside, we see two voices coming up, right? Have you heard? Two voices. This is one voice is from the mind, one voice is of intelligence. You know? So dvidha manasthiti hoti hai. We just become dual minded. Are we having two minds in our heart? We have only one mind. But one sound is coming from the mind, one sound is coming from the intelligence. Both of them have a different functionality as well. See, mind has a functionality of what I like, what I don't like. Emotions are coming from the mind. Intelligence many times talks about the very rational topics, rationality. You know? So whenever the words or the ideas are coming which are rational, logical, logics, these are coming from the intelligence. That is the intelligence part. And what is the false ego? False ego makes us believe that I am, giving us the idea of individuality. That gives the false ego. So this is what this one is, the functionality of these elements. And then Krishna explains about another element than this. Of course we saw that body, mind, body, gross body, subtle body, everything is perfect. But still, what is that Dehi? See, when we talk about mind also, we are watching our mind's activity. Have you seen? Do you see your mind working? Do you see your intelligence working? But if you see your mind working, if you see your intelligence working, then who is watching it? That is you. So what is that you? It's explained here. Okay, this is another shloka. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. We'll have so many shlokas coming up, so be ready for that. Because we don't speak anything without any evidences. You know, this is called as a proper talking. You know, many times people have their discussions in the lobby. You know, what I believe is like that. What I believe, that belief system doesn't have any value. You can believe anything, but what actually law is, that law is. We have to abide by the law. Whatever laws are stating, that is the fact. What facts are fact, but beliefs, they may change. But when we talk about the reality of the life, when we talk about the world, when we talk about this our creation, we talk based on the facts. So these facts which come from the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, and when somebody who's attached to this, when somebody speaks based on those facts, this is the intelligence. So now that is a strong point that we say. See, somebody is in a court. In the court, the two advocates are arguing. Do they argue based on what I believe? My lord, I believe that this person is not guilty. Please leave him. Judge will accept it. Give the proof, give the laws, then we'll leave. So in this way, same way we also here, we give the proof from the Shastras. Whatever speak, these are the law books. Okay, anybody want to read the translation? Prabhuji said here. Aparayam itastvanya prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Yeah.
Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material, inferior nature.
Yeah. So we saw the material nature. Material nature consists of 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. And the one who exploits this 8 elements is the Dehi, or maybe we can call it as a Krishna's another energy. He says, another energy, superior energy of mind, which enjoys these 3 things, these 8 things. That's what the constitute. So we from here understand the soul is Krishna's energy, superior energy. Of course, material world also is a Krishna's energy, but that is inferior energy and superior energy. So in this way we understand the body. Now we understand where things properly put into. Okay, so the analogy in the scriptures given is of a chariot for the body. So here we understand there is a body, there is a analogy is there. You see the horses, right? What these horses indicates in our body? Of course, eyes, nose, and these are the senses. We have a Gyanendriya and Karmendriya. Indriyas are the horses which drives us. With the Indriyas we know something, with the Indriyas we do something. So activity is happening there. And these things are controlled by that rope that we call a bribes, we can say, and it's held by one person, and the person who is sitting behind. So here is the charioteer and the person who is sitting as a passenger and whole chariot. Have you been in a chariot sometimes? घोड़ा गाड़ी में बैठे चलाइए कभी घोड़ा गाड़ी और maybe बैल गाड़ी bullock cart something. So this is an example like that. So senses are the horses and the brides, the ropes is like a mind, and the person who is holding this rope is intelligence, and the person sitting in the chariot is the soul. The chariot whole is the body. Okay? So in this way we are seeing the functionality of it. So who is controlling the senses actually? Mind is controlling. Who is controlling the mind? No. Intelligence. Sometimes people talk about Prabhuji, my mind is very uncontrolled. काम ही नहीं करता. क्या करना चाहिए? We have to have a strong intelligence. We will talk about this in our another topic, another session where we are talking in detail about how mind works. But yes, for the concept, we have to have a strong intelligence. And how to make the intelligence stronger? By reading scriptures, by reading Bhagavad Gita. When we read more and more those, your intelligence becomes stronger, rational becomes stronger, and we can control the mind. So this is the concept here. Yeah. Again, dehinosmin atha dehe kaumarano java tatha dehantara prapti. In this way, we change our body. Change the body with a chariot. The charioteer and the charioteer will keep on changing. Bodies will keep on changing. And seeing that the sober person, intelligent person does not gets bewildered. How this happens? This is the gross body, this is the subtle body, and of course there's some and the soul inside it. And of course, when we die, that gross body gets destroyed, and then the soul along with the subtle body goes from, this is the new body, and from one body it will change to shift to another body. This is how the transformation happens. Of course, this is a grossly the animation we have shown, but yes, somewhat it is like happen like that. So this is how we change the bodies. This is how the reincarnation happened. Karna means the body. And reincarnation, we get into another body. This is called as reincarnation. This is Italian, some I think Italian word only. So, so this is how it happens. How many of you believe in reincarnation? Or maybe you used to, okay, you are not used to believe in reincarnation. है ना? Tough to consider, accept, right? अरे जन्म के पहले क्या है, मृत्यु के बाद में क्या है? मतलब before the birth, what is there? After the death, what is there? Who has seen it? We don't remember also. But yes, there are so many evidences which shows that yes, there is incarnation. Of course, here we are seeing scripturally the evidences that the proof that reincarnation exists. That evidence, scripture talks about it. But now we'll go towards scientific explanation about it. The mystery of reincarnation is proved scientifically. Of course, there is no much development science has done, but yes, there are some curious scientists who have worked on the idea of reincarnation, taking another body. So this is a scientist called Dr. Ian Stevenson. He is a professor of psychiatry in West Virginia, USA. And he has done a vast amount of research. Of course, he is not present now. 2007 he passed away, but before dying, he has done a huge amount of research into reincarnation and many cases of reincarnation. So few of his cases, we'll take it out, but if you search his name, you can find many cases. I can send you a documentary of reincarnation which was studied by his team. These people, Ian Stevenson and his team, they used to go, whenever there is a news of reincarnation, they used to go in many places, and they research, they study these cases and find out whether this case is genuine or false. Of course, they found so many false cases of reincarnation also, but many of them were genuine cases. And they found not only in India में तो होते रहते हैं पुनर्जन्म के cases. ठीक है. Put it inside. Okay, ठीक है. I'll put it inside. Yeah. So he and his whole team, they have done so many researches and segregated, selected all these genuine cases and put it into a thesis. Almost 3,000 genuine cases of reincarnation they have found, not just in India, all over the world. Oh, something is happening. Sorry for this. Okay, one case of it, which of course you want to see this Ian Stevenson, one of his student is actually working in Bangalore. Her name is Satwant Pasricha. She is working in Nimans in Bangalore. If you can go and meet her. So one case we are talking about it here is a Deep Kapadia. Of course, because this is an Indian case study, of course there is another case study in the USA also happens, but yeah, this is very close to us, and this boy is still alive. This is a case, it came out in a newspaper in 1984. Deep Kapadia, he was a small boy. Of course, now he is a grown up and he teaches Vedic mathematics there. But yeah, when he was a small boy at 5 years old, he started showing some symptoms and he started telling his parents. Of course, very nice family they were. And he started telling, no, they are not my real parents. My hometown is Udaipur. I am going Udaipur. Let us go to Udaipur. There are my family is there. And parents were confused. Why our child is telling all these things? And sometimes he used to start talking into some different language that parents never spoke of. Sometimes Sindhi or some Marwadi language they used to speak. He started speaking into that. Parents were confused. What language is speaking? And they took him to the psychiatrist, and this news came to Ian Stevenson's team. And they came to research. And they started talking to him, and the boy was telling us, I'm from Udaipur and this and that. And they wanted to investigate it. They took this boy in a train, and they didn't tell him where we are going. And they started going to Udaipur. And as soon as Udaipur, they were reaching to Udaipur, and the boy started telling, okay, in another station, we have to get ready, we have to get down, Udaipur is coming. Nobody told him. And maybe somebody he heard of speaking, all this. They were very careful to examine the boy, but yes, no clue. The boy spoke himself, yes, next station is Udaipur, we have to get down. And he was telling, of course, he used to tell his name is Pannalal Agrawal. Pannalal Agrawal, who is this Pannalal Agrawal? They said, actually, this boy, when they got down from the station and they took an auto towards Pannalal Agrawal's house, and his boy himself started telling her, take a left, take a right, and on the way also he found so many people, he started calling them with their childhood names. And people were wondering, अरे कौन है लड़का, छोटा सा लड़का हमारे चड्डी नेम से बुला रहा है, and calling with our childhood pet names. And people were confused and they were going. And when they reached the house, the boy tried to enter the house, and there he got confused. And they were telling, अरे हमारे घर का दरवाज़ा तो यहाँ पे था, कहाँ चला गया दरवाज़ा? And they researched and found out that yes, actually the door was there when this man was alive, and now they shifted, after his death, they shifted the door somewhere else, for some reason. And this boy knocked the door, and after the door opens, Pannalal Agrawal, actual Pannalal Agrawal's son, who is grown up now, he is also having sons and all. He came, and this boy started calling him beta, like a child. He started, and the boy was confused. Who is this man? They, of course, they didn't inform him that we are coming, वगैरह. And this Pannalal Agrawal's son was confused. What is this? And he got a little scared. अरे पिता का property का मामला शायद. And he became skeptical and started asking so many questions. And this boy, for everybody's astonishment, was telling all the answers correct. That only Pannalal Agrawal was knowing so many secret things. Pannalal Agrawal was actually a curator in Udaipur museum, and the boy asked, Pannalal Agrawal's boy asked this Deep Kapadia, ki, "Arey, there is one secret that I and my father only knew. Can you tell that?" And he asked me to tell him, what is that? He says, ki, my father had a gun, rifle, and it is a kept secret. Nobody knew where is that rifle. Can you tell me where is that rifle? And nobody knew. Because rifle without license is a crime, right? They don't know. So he says, I know where is the rifle. He took them to the house. There is a photo was there somewhere, and behind the photo there was a secret chest was kept, and there that rifle was there. And the boy was astonished. Yeah, this is really a secret that I had. And these people took this Deep Kapadia to the museum, and the museum also he started telling everything very, very intricately. What all things are there. The small boy who going first time in the museum is telling everything with all details. He was a curator there. And of course he told many secrets and scams which are happening. Of course they didn't put into the newspaper after that, because no newspaper, all these news came, but yeah, these things they hide. And this boy started telling, I was killed for those secrets, those scams. And he told that, yeah, these are those people who killed me and I was murdered. People took it as a natural death or something, but no, he said, no, I was murdered because of this and this thing. And of course, Ian Stevenson, they could see that it is a genuine case. Of course, as soon as the boy kept growing, these past life memories kept on fading. But this is not just simply one case. There are so many different cases he has covered. They could identify as a genuine reincarnation cases. There was a documentary of when a boy who was born in USA somewhere. He was a fighter pilot before, and he used to tell all these stories, how he fought and all these things. And they found out all this. See, in India also there are so many cases which are genuinely found out. Their reincarnation happens. So where these memories come from? People may say, yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. जनरली ऐसा देखा जाता है कि जो बच्चे जो होते हैं जिनको पास्ट लाइफ की मेमोरीज होती है, वो जब बच्चे होते तब तक ही मेमोरीज रहती है, जैसे जैसे बड़े होते हैं सारी भूल जाते हैं, जो मेरी फेड हो जाते हैं, दे डोंट रिमेंबर ऑल्सो आफ्टर दैट. एंड नॉट एवरीबडी रिमेंबर ऑल दिस. सम सिलेक्टेड पीपल दे रिमेंबर ऑल दिस मेमोरीज, बट दैट मीन्स that these memories transfer from one life to another life. Where these memories goes? Where memories are stored? In our brain is dead, brain is destroyed, brain is burnt, brain is deteriorated, decomposed. But memories, sometimes people think that your brain is a storehouse of the memories, but it is not that. Memories are stored in our subtle body. When we change our bodies from one body to another, subtle body carries all those memories, carries all these things that we have learned, sanskaras from our body, from one life to another life. We have seen so many things coming, activities. Of course, you have child, in the child you can see so many things you are teaching to your child. And something you have not taught your child, but he is, by birth, he is doing something. When one of the important symptom of that, something which we carry as phobias. Phobias are some kind of a fears that we have because of some kind of a impression that we have in the childhood. It goes on. Some people have a claustrophobia because in childhood something would have happened. But some phobias are there which we don't know the root of it in our life. In this life at least those things have not happened, but still we are scared of it. Those phobias which are without any reason. which are carrying forward. Even in childhood they have some phobias. In childhood also they have some kind of a memories or some kind of a habits they have that parents have not taught them at all. Where these habits are coming from? These are carried from life to another life. These are called as the sanskaras, the impressions which we have in our brain. So these sanskaras are carried with the intelligence, mind and a false ego. That subtle body carries it. Our likes and dislikes, they are also carried like it from birth to another birth. Another experience of I am not the body and something beyond the body is another phenomenon they spoke about is near death experiences. Of course, he's a scientist, another scientist, Dr. Michael Sobim. He's a cardiologist. He used to say that there in the whole world there is no cardiologist in the world who has not experienced this. In his career, every cardiologist will come at least one case of near-death experiences where his own patients they start talking like that they have seen their own surgery. Cardiologist means heart is stop working and they do something. So many people when they are doing this open heart surgery or something like that, these people say ki, doctor, I saw you while you are doing my surgery. The people feel that they are above their body and they are watching themselves. And many times these people start talking what people, they start telling what doctors were discussing when surgery was going on. But actually the patient is in deep sleep. And all the senses are completely inactive. No, maybe you say, "Arey, kaan to chal rahe hai, sun rahe hai," but process kahan pe ho raha hai? So these people are able to recollect all this, and they say that not just simply they are hearing, they are watching it many times. They are watching from above. Here what's happening there. There are so many cases they have got it. So this one is there, documentary or the small research they have done. I'll show this video for you.
In Germany, prestigious doctors are also losing their battle. The heart
Sorry.
will not restart. In Germany, prestigious doctors are also losing their battle.
Able to hear?
The heart
So mic लगा दीजिए यहाँ
will
पे.
restart. She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
This will be
Yeah.
a little short range. Trying to just her heart with a defibrillator to bring. We gave her several drugs. The patient had lost too much blood. Her organs weren't getting it.
They're talking about one lady whose operation was going on. She lost lots of blood. They were given a heavy sedatives to her.
Many would consider her dead.
People were thinking that she is lost, she is dead for some time.
With her mind.
Das nächste, was ich wieder weiß, dass ich wohl.
She is the one.
Next thing I know, I was hovering underneath the ceiling of the room. I could see down on myself laying on the operating table. And I saw the surgeons and heard them talking to each other.
Everybody.
The scenario was pretty hectic. I realized that this was about life or death.
To help understand near-death experiences, some researchers focus on the content of these episodes.
A common element that occurs early in near-death experiences is what's called an out-of-body experience.
Mic ऐसा
At that
पकड़ लो
time,
चाहे तो.
the person seems to be able to see and hear things going on, but up from the vantage point above their body.
Okay, fine. That's all. Okay, so this is the near-death experiences. These people, they start taking, they are almost dead. Doctor has considered them as a clinically dead people, but of course with some efforts they bring them back. But what they experience when they are dead is a research matter when people want to understand what is death. Because they have touched the death and came back, and their experiences are very, very valuable. So in this way, these people, many times they talk about so many different experiences. Sometimes these people, they show like they are hovering over the body and going somewhere here and there. They kind of experiences without body, this kind of thing. I had one friend who was he was almost a dead kind of thing. He was telling one concept, that is called as a fetal hallucinations. They call something, a word is there. So there is one research for that. What experiences, what visions people get when they are touching to the death, or maybe they are coming near to the death. So people, there's all over the world, there is similar phenomena they talk about. They see some kind of a varied creatures or humans kind of thing, having hands and legs, but having a red hairs and bloody eyes and very ugly faces and all these things, and they were having a rope. And this kind of experiences are taught by many people in the world, irrespective of their culture and the countries. Once, of course, one of my friend who was almost about to die in his life, he was into some hospital, and some wrong diagnosis happened, and he was about to die, and he was seeing those creatures coming and visiting him. We call them Yamaraj, Yamdutas kind of thing, right? So he was Indian, so he was telling, Prabhuji, mujhe koi Yamdut dikh rahe. And I asked him how they are watching. Of course, because we have heard about them a lot in our life, from our elders, we can see. But similar activity, similar phenomena happened in USA. Our Prabhupada books, one of the Prabhupada books is the Second Chance. In the Second Chance, there is a story of Ajamil. Heard about Ajamil's story? Ajamil is a person who was about to die, and Yamdutas came to remove his soul from the body. And when he says Narayana, he was left out. Okay, Narayana bol diya, chhod do isko. So that story is mentioned into this that book, and the picture also is like that. One person is dying, and this whatever exact description that our scripture talks about Yamdutas, they have painted into that. And our devotees, they were roaming into the USA, some remote village, and they are selling books. So as soon as one of our friend, one of our devotees, went to one village house, and he showed this book, and this person was telling American, no sense of any no sense of Indian culture at all. This person was telling, I have seen these people, give me this book. And he asked him, what kind of people? You have seen this man who is lying on the bed? No, the person who are standing and who are troubling him, because they also troubled me. And he was telling, yes, I was about to die. Sometimes these people came to visit me, and somehow they went back and they didn't come back. And I want to know more about it. So then he took the book, that's all. But yes, all over the world, these phenomena are visible, and this is not just our experiences. Doctors also talks about it. Yes, this fatal or maybe a near-death experiences, these phenomena, these visions are common for everybody. So how it is? Because they are reality. So that's how we are understanding Dhiras Tatana Muyati. When somebody understands that, how this transformation from one body to another happens, persons doesn't get disturbed. Death is the biggest scare. मृत्यु जो है सबसे बड़ा भय है. Biggest fear is of death. But somebody understand what that death is. Somebody understand what is the life after death. These people will not get disturbed. Actually, many of you are the leader in the society. Many of you are going to be the leader in the society. This phenomena, this thing we must know to become fearless. To become matured enough. Besides, that's how Bhagavad Gita philosophy speaks about, elevates our consciousness, to makes us understand, makes us a sober person who is not bewildered by seeing those changes. People get disheartened, people get dejected or depressed by seeing death of near and dear ones, or maybe death of our own person. But somebody who knows this science, he will be a strong, and he will remain strong even the difficult and terrible situations. This science of Bhagavad Gita transforms us from within. When we are understanding this, what we understand, we are not. What we are not? We are actually, if in simple words, if I can say to you, so we are not human beings which are going through some spiritual experiences here, but we are the spiritual beings with a human experience. When we understand this all philosophy and all this all these facts, what we say, I have a body, I have a hand, I have a leg, but can we say I have a soul? How many of you say I have a soul? No, you don't have a soul, but you are the soul. You are the soul, you are the spirit, you are that spiritual thing which is running, which is having these material experiences. We are understanding what is the matter and what is the spirit. This is what is mean by understanding the life. What is matter is a temporary, the spirit is permanent. Connection with any matter is a temporary. It comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Relationship comes and goes. But connection with the spirit, the higher realm, is always a permanent one. What happens when we understand this concept of matter and spirit? We understand the idea of the spirit, universal brotherhood. We understand that we are whatever coverings that we have, that is a temporary covering. Today I am born in India, tomorrow I will be born into some other place. So why to have this enmity? Universal brotherhood comes when you understand that behind this all different bodies, there is the same spirit soul. Everybody has the same similar spirit soul there. So we are brothers with this at the level of the soul. Again, another benefit of understanding this body, this concept is the rising above the spirit, our inferiority complex or superiority complex. In the group of the friends, somebody is little fair, he will have superiority complex. And and somebody is having some kind of a dark skin, he will have an inferiority complex. Or maybe some bodily deformation. If we have so many complex that we get. I am like this. But when we understand the soul, concept of the soul, and we understand the temporariness of this body, we can come out of this inferiority complex also. Even when we get a difficult situation in our life, when we get troubles or maybe some kind of challenges in our life, we can come out of it with this concept. Positive, we can build up a positive outlook. And have a right attitude towards life. And finally we understand the right resources, right use of the resources. Your body is a machine. And we have to, if it is something is a machine, we know how to optimally use it, right? So when we understand, when we treat our body like a machine, we can treat it, we can use it, we can tame it or we can tend it so that we can get a maximum benefit out of it. When somebody understands himself as a body, he will just go with the whims of the body and the senses. But under somebody who wants to control it, he has to rise above this. The right use of the resources. The question is, how to come to that concept, that realization of body and the soul. So we understand, we are the soul, the subtle body is there, and we have a gross body. When we understand that, we work not just simply at the body level, but we work at a subtle level and we work at a spirit level also. But right now our activities are just based on whatever activities, whatever actions we are taking right now is only at the outer covering level. We just look after our body, we look after our needs of the body, and we think that my happiness lies into taking care of those needs. घर में अगर AC है तो I am happy. If power goes off, AC gets down, अरे बाबा, and we just get our happiness and distress lies on that, and that happiness and distress is superficial because it has a bodily level. But when we talk about something higher, the soul, intelligence, mind, and above that is a subtle soul level. Our activities goes beyond that. When we act not just at the bodily level, but act at the level of the soul, even the bodily level there are some discomforts, we are immune to those discomforts. Imagine, at least right now you have a nice life here in Bangalore. What about the sadhus in Vrindavan? What they have? है ना, एक दिन हमारा कंडीशनर खत्म हो जाता है, हेयर कंडीशनर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, we feel so much sad. अरे conditioner खत्म हो गया, shampoo खत्म हो गया, there is no shampoo, no shampoo. What about the sadhus having jatas? Are they feeling that much distress in their life? है ना? We have AC and fans in our house. Have you heard of Vrindavan ka garmi, the heat of Vrindavan? And they live, and even though they are into that conditions, are they sad? No, because this situation don't affect them. AC है नहीं है, conditioner है नहीं है, so it doesn't bother about it. They are just they, because they derive happiness from different source. The source of their happiness is the soul. And do you want to remain happy in spite of all the discomforts in the life? Yes. Get connected to the soul. Get connected. Start acting at the level of the soul, and this will drive out all the hollowness and emptiness from our life. So we have to look for the physical needs, psychological needs, but of course we have to look for the spiritual need as well. Okay? So don't starve our soul or the spiritual activities. Spiritual activities will feed the spirit soul. What kind of spiritual activities we are talking about? What activities are spiritual activities? One thing is, we speak about mantra meditation. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra feeds the soul. We feed the body to stay healthy. But what is the food for the soul? The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, studying Bhagavad Gita, and association of saintly people like here. This good association nourishes us. So this nourishment goes to the soul, and then the fulfillment will come from inside. So always chant Hare Krishna mantra, that we are going to do practically now. How the spiritual nourishment happens, after this we'll see. And study of Bhagavad Gita, of course we are doing it. So you can hear one shloka of Bhagavad Gita every day. One shloka. Of course we will keep on sending. Are you all part of our WhatsApp group? If you are not, please get added. We will add you, or we will send you the link. Our mentors will send the links, and you get added to our WhatsApp group. We will send one shloka of Bhagavad Gita every day. That will nourish your intelligence. Mantra meditation nourishes your mind. Bhagavad Gita nourishes your intelligence, and association, of course, at the body level. Okay? Hare Krishna. Before we go ahead.
Thank you so much, Guruji, for thought-provoking sessions. Really amazing to listen. Hope everyone enjoyed it. So maybe the summary of this, the key takeaway from this session, I will just cover in asking a few questions to you, and you can answer just as a true or false. So just the first question, consciousness is generated by association of matter. Is it true or false? Consciousness is a product of some matter, body matter, some chemical reaction, and that makes consciousness.